the king of Subada, 2020 and beyond.
Hello again. I hope you're well. This is Mo with Mo's Lifestyles. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new subscribers, welcome. I saw some of you subscribing afresh. Really welcome to my channel, and thank you for gracing me with your presence. For those of you who have been there with me for a while, karibuni tena, welcome again. Today we have an interesting topic. I want to talk about one thing. There's a saying that says, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Or there's another one by Robert Schuller that says, tough times never last, but tough people do. In this particular season, I can say I'm going through a very tough period, a very tough time. Why is Mo going through a tough time? Why? Because I believe a lot of us are going through tough period where right now my particular problem has to do with my planned relocation back to my country, my relocation back home. And this is also home for me because, yes, I was born here. I am actually a UK citizen. I was born here. And so to me, this is home as well. But I would like to relocate back to Africa. Why? Because at my age now, especially, it's a bit difficult for me to find work that is in my line of profession that will give me enough hours to actually make a proper living. What I'm getting is mostly gigs. Gig work is very difficult because you never have enough hours when it comes to gig work. Isn't that true? Have you guys who are working gig work, hourly rates per day and stuff like that, people who get little contracts of 1 day, maybe 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, how does that make you feel? You can't plan. Almost impossible to plan for the future. I'm sitting at a bus stop, by the way, guys, and because of the wind. That's the only way, because it's a little bit windy here. So, as I'm planning for the future, I have to think about a way to make a sustainable living, to have sustainable income. What makes it difficult is my age. Once you're now in your mid to late 50s, you now have to think outside the box. Why? Because you're too young to retire and too old to hire. Can you imagine, guys? Think about it. You have the energy to work, but few people want to work with people your age, especially Gen Zs who are now in the employment positions, and millennials. They don't want to employ people their parents' age or their aunties' ages. They want to work with people of their own age. Why? Because so many things have changed in the workplace also. Again, AI, as much as it's good, it's a good tool, it is replacing jobs at an alarming rate. If you are a writer today, even if you're young, you see how AI can write up a lot, can summarize information within 1 or 2 seconds. We're not even talking minutes, we're talking about seconds. You give it an idea and ChatGPT will analyze information for you and finalize it and write something with such perfect English, no spelling mistakes, no grammatical errors. I mean, even a human being cannot do that. They can summarize information from books and novels and textbooks and set books and stuff that you yourself cannot get your hands on. So as long as AI has access to that data and material at its hand, then it will just take that information and just put it together in a way that a regular human cannot. Not without days and days of research or hours of research and stuff. So whether we like it or not, we are soon, many of us, going to find ourselves unemployed either because of our age or because of AI. AI has come to disrupt. It is a good thing, but it has also disrupted the workplace, and many of us will have to reinvent ourselves and find things to do. There is no shame in that. That's one of the things that we should be careful of. Let us not carry shame because we have to adapt, because we have to adjust and find a new way to work and live in the world. It is expected. When computers came in, there were changes. There was a time when I remember my mom, when she was at work, she used to use shorthand. Shorthand. You guys used to remember the days that the ladies were doing shorthand. And then all of a sudden typewriters came in and they cut back on the speed, like the brother typewriter. Then after the typewriter, the brother typewriter, then came the computer. I was in university at that time. And then after that, mobile phones. Which were very expensive initially. Eventually now everybody has a mobile phone, 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Then the next thing now, we have even earpods and all kinds of things, different kinds of Technology is almost limitless right now, guys. So what I can say is we have to change, and we have to change fast. So what have I decided to do? Like I said in the last video, and thank you for watching, guys. Like I said before, my plan is to start to simplify my life. And while simplifying my life, I am also looking at all the various gifts and talents and skills that I have. In the past, like I told you guys, I was baking and cooking, and also you saw when I was in Kenya, I had started dressmaking, making clothes for myself. And I was doing that with a lady who I work with, who we had employed. Her name is Millicent, and she's very talented. Used to work for the guys who export clothes abroad. Yeah, what are they called? East Africa. What is it called? The export. Sorry, it's called the export processing zone. Yeah, the export processing zone. So she is so talented, and I believe in using people's talents, and I don't want to see her talent go to waste. At the same time, I also want to see if perhaps we can design some things that would be nice to wear for women who are bigger, like myself, size 16, 18, from size 14 going up. So that you just have to come to me with your measurements, and you say, I would like to, you come up with your dress, the one that you want to wear, and we make one for you. Why do you have to go there and start worrying about, whether you can find something to wear that will suit you, that will suit your body type, that you will enjoy wearing, that will make you happy, that you won't see with 1,000 other people. Yeah, so that's the whole idea. So I'm interested in several issues. One is the issue of baking. 2 is tailoring, and 3 is, of course, my regular videos. Yeah, my regular videos, my YouTube channel, which I really love, and I believe I can expand it. If I am not in this country of the UK, it will be easier for me to expand it. Why? Because labor is very, very expensive in the UK. And also in the UK, literally we have been aged out of our work, and it's kind of difficult just to get people who want to work with you, or who will agree to work with you without having to be paid so much money, So one of the experiences that I've had, let's say not even once, maybe twice or 3 times, if anybody is coming into the UK, you guys be very careful, because here, this is the land of scammers and fraud. The UK has become a land of scamming and fraud. When I first came here and I wanted to register my business, I registered with one of these well-known service providers that help you to develop a website. And unknowing to myself, I actually signed a contract and agreed to have this website created within a certain period of time. Guess what? 6 months later, they still had not done my website. So I went to cancel the order. Was it 6 months? Even probably longer. I kept checking with them, like, what's wrong? Why aren't you guys developing my website? Why the delay? What's happening? And I think we had agreed on something like 3 months, to develop the website. Well, 6 months later, they still had not. So I went to cancel, and they came back to me like attack dogs. Yeah, they came back as attack dogs, saying that I signed a contract, and therefore I have to abide by the rules of the contract. I was like, what are you talking about, man? Let me walk as we talk. I said, what are you talking about, man? Hey, if you guys don't actually, abide by your rules yourself for signing the contract. By the way, I've left the bus stop because I saw some people want to come and stand at the bus stop, and I'm talking so loudly. So just to be fair to them, yeah. So I said, no. So unfortunately, after a lot of tug and pull, pulling and tugging, and a lot of back and forth emails. And by the way, this person had actually come to my house. He had actually come to my house to write up the contract with me. And I really believed that he was actually going to deliver, but he did not. And apart from that, yes, even if he did not deliver, he still wanted to get paid. So that has been my experience, guys. You be very careful when you're coming to the UK, because there's a lot of scamming, a lot of fraud. Too much fraud. You get a lot of phone calls from people you don't even know. And like, for example, some phone calls come, and they come with a name, and it says likely nuisance. And because of that, it means somebody somewhere was being defrauded by this person. So what I do is I do not pick the phone calls. So in this land of scamming, you have to be very careful. Yeah, like I was saying, you have to be very careful in the UK because there's way too much scamming going on, too much fraud. They themselves admit to it. It's an issue. Guys, there's a dog over here. That's my friend. Say hi to him. You see him over there. Hi, how are you? Before you know it, he's gonna be barking away. I think maybe he recognized me this time. So I'm walking in our neighborhood, guys. So anyway, like I was saying, you guys, you know, this is a land of fraud. You have to be so careful in this country. Doing business is difficult. Yeah. So I see that's the bus that these guys were waiting for. You know, these buses, one good thing is that they come on time, but then at the same time, they are so few. They're maybe like one every half hour. You can't do business in an environment like that. This is Wales, so everything is slow, especially when you're outside when you're not like within where people are. It's very slow. Okay, guys, so that's it. That's all. What I'm saying is that, you know, it's difficult to do business, but I have decided that I am not going to allow setbacks in life to keep me in this country. No way. No. I'm going to face my challenges as they should be faced. So let me find a place to sit down and then I'll talk to you a bit more. Just decided to come to the park. You call it a park here, but it's not really a park. It's just an open space, green space. They call it green spaces. In the UK, they call them green space. In the US, they call them parks. It's just a green space. Over here, it's kind of like a meadow. You know, anybody who watched Little House on the Prairie? Do 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 do. Let me turn this around. Anyone who watched Little House on the Prairie can actually sing that song here, in this long grass here. You see this grass? You can just see the Ingle kids running, and the song going do 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 do. Okay, guys, I can hardly even sing right now. I'm actually doing a pretty pathetic job. So we even have a windmill over there. Yeah, you can actually watch the trains go by. Trains, I don't know if you can see, there's one over there. So anyway, guys, yeah, I'm here at the green space to chat with you. A friend of mine gave me some advice and said, to make it easier for me, because I'm so unfit, I should just sit down and talk. But at the moment, I need to do a bit of exercise. I need to walk and to think. So I thought to myself, what are the top 3 things that I really fear? What are the 3 things that stop a lot of people from actually pursuing ideas that come in their mind? Income creation ideas, businesses and stuff. What are the 3 things that stop people? Yeah? And I'm going to say the first thing that stops a lot of people is fear of failure. I'm even going to sit down now here. I'm sitting on this log. I can say fear of failure. A lot of people are scared to fail. Me too, me included. I'm scared of failing. I don't want to go and take my money, invest in business and fail because it's going to be so expensive for me. Starting over again at my age, there's a lot to risk. But again, what I fear more than failure is the fear of not having tried and succeeded. You know, what if I succeed? The what if I succeed question is always on my mind, and I think I'll beat myself harder for not trying. So my fear of not trying is greater than my fear of failure. So guess what? I'm going for it. What's my second fear? My second fear is my fear of success. What if I get such a big order for cakes? Maybe I get a big order for mini cakes, for queen cakes, for like I need 500 cupcakes for an event. And what if I don't have all my ingredients? I don't have enough of my equipment ready. What if I'm not ready to deliver at the highest quality level? What about my reputation? I worry about my reputation a lot. I really worry. I don't know what you call that. Is it fear of failure as well? But I think it's fear of success. So what if I start getting so many orders that I cannot cope? This has happened to me. Let me give you an example. When I started my restaurant, I went into a school and I asked for an order. I wanted to cater to their leaving day. I guess maybe their final day, okay, when they're going to have a party. I even had a restaurant. I had chefs. I had everything in place. I had all the ingredients. I had the space. But guess what happened? My chefs let me down. Last minute, my chef, I don't know whether he was drunk or what happened. He could not perform. I don't know whether he got stage fright or what happened. And he was the best chef. I mean, he used to make the most delicious dishes and he could cook for people in bulk. But because actually, I'll tell you what, he was a gambler. And because he lost money with gambling, he went and drank the night before and came to work drunk. And we were not able to fulfill my expectations. So I really am afraid. I'm afraid of not being able to fulfill the expectations of clients. Clients would entrust me to deliver for them and I fail them. But now that I have learned, from my previous lesson, I now know what to do. I am going to make sure that I'm right there. And I'm going to have backup staff who are trained. I'm going to have other people who are available. And I'm going to stand right there and make sure if I see any sign whatsoever that we're not going to be able to deliver because of an individual who is not performing their duty the way they're supposed to. I'm also not going to trust people too well. There's another experience I had while I was running my catering business. Fortunately, there were actually three experiences that really shook me. One of them was that one where we're not able to deliver for our clients to the standards that we normally have. These people even came to my restaurant and tried out our dishes and loved them. But when it came to deliver at their event, for some reason we were just like fumbling around. It's like I was so embarrassed and so upset. The second and one of the worst experiences I had with my beautiful cakes as you see them. Again, the same problem of chefs being drunk and disorderly at work. When I started my restaurant, there was some cooking that was going on at home. So I continued baking from the house, baking cakes because I had a license to bake from the house. But I was also running my restaurant and I didn't want to combine the two because one of them was hot dishes, the other one was mostly bakery goods. I trusted this very experienced chef, elderly man, to bake a beautiful birthday cake for one of my clients. Guess what happened? He confused the sugar for the salt. So the cake looked absolutely gorgeous. I looked at it, I even delivered it myself to the client. And then the client delivered it by motorbike. I think it was delivered by motorbike to the school. And the kids were like, oh, this cake is terrible. It's all full of salt. Do you know, you guys, I could not believe what was going on. I could not believe it. Because this guy is the best chef that I know. And I used to pay them really good money. But because of drunkenness, because of taking alcohol, this guy messed up that client. That client was so mad. She brought the rest of the cake to me. She told me, you embarrassed me at the school. I said, no. This did not happen. I could not believe. I gave her the money back plus baked her another cake, but she was really upset. These are the kinds of things that happen. The third thing that happened, which was really frightening for me, was when one of the chefs, the same one who used to gamble, got very annoyed, and because he had a very bad temper, he actually took a kitchen knife and was threatening the other workers in the kitchen. I wasn't there, I don't know what went on that day, but he was in a bad mood. The way kitchens can be difficult. There are places which are crazy. And that young man actually started to threaten my staff with stabbing. I could not believe it. I was like, who are these people? These are chefs who work for big hotels. I was actually trained at one of the big hotels in town, a 5-star hotel. So I was trained in food and bev after high school. So I used to work with the chefs. I was taught the first thing I had to do was to cut vegetables. and I cut them and 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 cut them. So now I'm very fast. I know how to cut vegetables very fast. I went round to various kitchens, the pastry kitchen, the rotisserie kitchen, the hot soup kitchen, also the prep areas, the pizzeria. So I circled everywhere, and I ended up working finally as her hostess in the restaurant. So I really circled the whole place. And one of the first things that I noticed was at the bottom of the counter, every single chef had beer under the counter. So this is one of the biggest problems in the catering industry. A lot of chefs are drinking and they're drunk on the job. So one of the things I have to make sure is that I am not going to allow that I think we're going to have to find a way to test whether chefs and cooks and people like that are drunk and disorderly at work. Those are some things that I thought that I didn't have to do, especially when the person was older, but how wrong I was. So I fear making those kinds of mistakes again. And I pray and I believe that this time I will not make that mistake. Yeah. The first, I fear failure, I fear success, and I fear not delivering to the client because of a mistake that I could have avoided. Yeah. I think those are the three main issues. So I think my antennas are going to be up to make sure that we deliver quality all the time. That means that I have to make sure that I have a supervisor who is going round to check the quality of everything, that I'm not going to trust people. I'm not going to just delegate and trust people to deliver just because they can. People can let you down at the last minute and mess up your business forever. Yeah. So guys, yeah, so those are my views. That's how I'm feeling right now. And yeah, I'm really happy that I came out here because it's so beautiful and God is good. He gave me such a beautiful environment to tape this. Oh yeah, the other thing I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to continue with my platforms, continue with my baking, my cooking. I don't know whether to expand or not. I'm afraid of expanding too quickly into hot dishes, although I know in hot dishes is where you make a lot of money, catering. Yeah, and I'll try to see what I'm going to be able to do. So of course, being in Kenya again, the environment, I'm a little worried about the environment, trying to get all the licenses on time. And really that's one of the big issues. But the other issue is setting prices, and then the prices of goods start going up. Just the other day, by the way, oh yes, here's a new fear that I have right now. The quality of the ingredients that I'm going to use. Did you guys see that there's I don't know how many tons of bad sugar, okay, sugar that is poor quality, poor grade, or even spoiled sugar that has actually come into the country and been allowed in and is being repackaged in Kenya. If there's anything that I fear like that, yeah, like buying sugar or buying ingredients that are not fit for human consumption, that is one of the biggest issues. So this issue is affecting rice and also sugar. Another thing it was affecting at some point was flour that we use for ugali, which is what people call puf puf. You know, is it puf puf? They call it, anyway, yeah. So sadza, yeah, the flour that people use for sadza or for ugali, yeah, is so worrisome. A lot of it actually has aflatoxin. I'm so worried about the quality of the ingredients. Again, I'm also worried about the pricing of electricity. Electricity is one of the most expensive commodities when it comes to kind of cottage industries. It's also unreliable. That means that you have to be there to watch your product. You can't trust that your cake is going to be baking as you deliver, because the electricity might go off. Then what? Yeah, you have a failure, so the whole issue of ensuring quality, trying to be perfect. But I've decided I am not going to try to be perfect. I'm always going to try my best to do the best that I can. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do a lot of preparation the day before. So I have to have good refrigerators, freezers to keep food fresh. I've seen that you can do some of the baking in advance and even freeze cakes in advance and still keep them moist. There are tricks for doing that. So that way I can avoid having to do too many things on the same day. So let's see how that's going to go. I'm kind of getting excited, psyching myself up for this, because really I have no option but to start. I really have none. And you guys, if you're planning to do something, just do it. Let's do it. Let's try it. Come and support me as I try that, as I work on my YouTube channels, and as I work on my catering and on my dressmaking and things like that. I'm really looking for, a new me. I believe maybe I could say another unrelated issue that worries me is my family. How am I going to manage my family in the meantime? How will I work with my family? My family is here in Wales, and I have to find a way to continue being a mother and a wife. So that is something that I have to work on. Maybe we have to work with my husband to see how we're going to do this together, or whether he's going to have to stay back again. We've been separated a lot in our marriage. This is, probably too much information, but we have stayed apart. We've lived a lot of our lives apart. And this is something I've been trying to close, a gap I've been trying to close. But unfortunately, the way it seems like it's something that I really cannot help, because baking in this country is not something that is possible to do large scale in the UK. If I was in the US, maybe. But in the UK, it's a bit more difficult, much more tricky. The rules, are too much in this country for starting business. It's not a very friendly place for entrepreneurs and for entrepreneurship. So I have to find a way, guys. We just have to find a way. So before it gets too dark, I want to say thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you for your time. It's been lovely chatting with you. When I come outside, I actually feel so clear in my mind, and I can talk to you. Fresh air. I'm really going to miss Wales. I'm going to miss Cardiff. But what has to be done has to be done. Okay, guys. Bye-bye. Toodles. Thank you for listening. It's Mo's Lifestyle. Please subscribe. Bye-bye.